Well, damn, guys, we have made it to another weekly roundup already. Donald Trump has been in the White House for 9 weeks, which means he's got 199 left to go. And for those of you that are counting down the days, it's only 1,394 days. And with any luck at all, maybe he won't make it. Maybe he won't make it the whole way through. Let's just cross our fingers on that one. Now, of course, this week has been consumed by the whole Signalgate controversy, which means there's a whole bunch of stuff we missed. We're going to cover everything from the creeping fascism that we are currently seeing in America, all the way to a little bit more positive messaging coming from an ally of the Democratic Party. But like I said before, this is the part in the week where we kind of just round up a whole bunch of clips. They don't necessarily discuss any particular theme, but if you have any suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. But other than that, guys, it's been a chaotic week. Let's go ahead and get started with some of these clips. First off here is this crazy lady, Pam Bondi. Now, she's supposed to be the Attorney General, right? But it really just feels like she's part of Donald Trump's goon squad. I mean, that's what it really comes down to, it seems. Here she is threatening a member of Congress.
This is domestic terrorism. And Maria, now you have this Congresswoman Crockett who is calling for attacks on Elon Musk on her birthday. Let's take him out on my birthday, she says. And yet she turns and says, oh, I'm not calling for violence. Well, she is an elected public official. And so she needs to tread very carefully because nothing will happen to Elon Musk. And we're going to fight to protect all of the Tesla owners throughout this country.
What is wrong with these people? They're really spending their time going after people who are protesting Tesla, and then you want to go ahead and threaten a member of Congress because she supports peaceful protesting against a private company? Oh, but because Elon's in the government and Elon is attached to Daddy Trump right at that hip, well, then of course we've got to issue these fascistic threats. Of course we're going to go after the people who mess with our boy Elon. I mean, these people are absolutely pathetic. Jasmine Crockett clearly said that the violence and the vandalism was not okay, that peaceful protests is just capitalism at work and democracy at work. That's all she said. And for Pam Bondi to come out there and issue threats like this is just absolutely despicable. It's just a bit more of that creeping fascism that we are seeing across the country right now. And it's not only limited to government, even over on state media, we've got Brian Kilmeade saying that due process? Man, we can't afford to due process. They don't deserve it.
I also think it's not practical to think that we can do due process on 8 million people.
No.
There's 22 million people here, and minimum illegal already just in the last 3 administrations. And there were some people that got through with Trump's administration. If we're going to give these guys a day in court and a lawyer, we can't do it. They don't deserve it. Our system doesn't need to be double burdened.
Again, this is just absolutely disgusting. Due process is one of the fundamental pillars of a free society. And did you hear what he said there, actually? He said, well, we've got like 22 million of these people coming in a year. 8 million, we can't give them all due process. That is not how this works. And what he's responding to here is the Trump administration invoking a 1798 law to deport people without any due process at all. And Donald Trump has been using that and sending people off to an El Salvadorian prison. And Brian Kilmeade wants to say, well, these people don't deserve due process. That is absolutely absurd. It is not a free country if the government can just point at you and say you've done something wrong and then send you to another country that you don't belong to. That is not how the system works. It doesn't matter if you've committed a crime or you haven't committed a crime. Everybody deserves the due process. It is one of the fundamental pillars of our free society. And we have to continue to push back against this because if there's no due process, there is no freedom. Let's go ahead and move on to creep Elon Musk here, talking about how they're just going to start going after people who speak badly about Tesla.
It's the people pushing the propaganda that caused that guy to do it. Those are the real villains here. And we're going to go after them. And the president's made it clear, we're going to go after them. The ones providing the money, the ones pushing the lies and propaganda, we're going after them.
What an absolute creep. We're going after them. Now, obviously, Elon Musk is ass mad that Tesla stock is falling off a cliff. He's ass mad that people are showing up at Tesla dealerships all across the country and protesting Elon. But that is what you get, bro. And these people continue to say that these are paid protesters who are sending people out there to engage in vandalism, but there has never been a shred of evidence to say that that is actually the case. It's really funny that Elon Musk has zero self-awareness here. He is one of the main purveyors of MAGA propaganda. He bought a Twitter platform so he could spin up a right-wing media ecosystem to help Donald Trump win the election. Does this guy really not understand these things? Again, this is just more of that creeping fascism. Oh, if you criticize us, we're coming after you. If you talk poorly about Tesla and then they brand it as propaganda, oh, then we're coming after you. I mean, these people are absolutely disgusting. We have to push back against this crap. These people need to suffer a severe beating electorally come 2026. We got to make it happen. Here's Kayleigh McEnany talking about, well, Elon saved a couple people in space, but listen to the pretext to this conversation before she says that.
Elon has made the personal political. He brought Tesla to the White House. They did an event with Tesla at the White House. And Elon and Trump both have said the worst things about people on X, on the campaign trail, and I don't hear Republicans upset about all of those things.
But should more Democrats condemn firebombing Tesla facilities?
Well, of course, Kayleigh, but there's a big difference between firebombing Tesla and saying that Elon Musk has very dangerous ideas. He is hurting average Americans. The world's richest man who makes millions from the U.S. government is taking away, elderly people's pensions because he is every single day. I know people who have lost their jobs because of Elon and they cannot pay for childcare now. That is a terrible, and he jokes about it and laughs about it. Let's talk about that.
His dangerous ideas saved 2 people from space who were stranded during the Biden era. So there's that.
Are these people serious? Elon Musk is probably the worst figure in America right now. He's an unelected billionaire. He's going around the federal government. He's shutting down agencies. He's shutting down money. He's going after Social Security. They're going after Medicaid. He is making lives worse for the average American, yet he is taking millions upon millions of dollars per day from federal government contracts. And then you're going to go around and just say, oh, well, Elon Musk, he's the savior. He saved 2 people in space. Are you fucking serious? What is wrong with these people? Why do they have such a complex around these demagogues? It is so pathetic how they'll just stand up for them for anything, even though Elon Musk is causing immense harm to many of the American people. Yet they hold him up as some sort of hero because he brought 2 people home from space. I mean, give me a goddamn break. All right, let's move on. Here's Don Bacon again. This is the second appearance he's made at the weekly Roundup. And here he is again pushing back against Donald Trump's power with the whole tariff thing.
Well, in Article 1 in the Constitution, really tariffs should be a congressional initiated action. So this should come from Congress. However, I think we made a mistake. In the past, we passed legislation that gave the president some temporary tariff authorities. And I think we should look back and maybe restore the power back to Congress and take away the authorizations that we've allowed the presidents, not just President Trump, but President Biden and President Obama before him. This power should reside in the House and the Senate.
Now, I love to hear this. I don't know how realistic it is that they are ever going to hand that power back. But what has been going on with these tariffs is, the president is allowed to implement these tariffs, but only under certain conditions. And one of the conditions that meets that is a national security issue. So what Donald Trump has been doing, or what he has done, is he issues an economic state of emergency so he can then have the power to implement these tariffs. And the House and the Senate are supposed to be able to check that power. they're supposed to be able to review the tariffs that the president has implemented and then say, hey, these aren't working out. We're going to go ahead and rescind them. But Congress has given up that power to Donald Trump. They have taken away their own power to have a check on the executive branch. So Don Bacon is absolutely right here. The power of the purse does remain with Congress. But Republicans have removed their backbone, and they have just ceded all of this power to Donald Trump. And even in the continuing resolution, it gave him more power as regards to these tariffs. So now Donald Trump can just go out there. He can put them on again, off again, on again, pause. He's been an absolute madman, and the Republicans are just a bunch of feckless losers who just gave their power away on it. It is absolutely pathetic. Let's go ahead and move on here to Ro Khanna talking about how the government doesn't need to be profit-driven. This is a point that we need to continue to make because all of these conservatives seem to think that a government can be run by like a business. That is just not the case. That is not how we want our government to be run.
That when you make programming for children to help their social and emotional development, it costs so much money to do, and it's a public good, then not everything has to be about profit. Do you have any idea what it takes to produce Daniel Tiger, who all they hired? Did you ever try to figure it out?
No, but I can tell you that the market said that it wasn't, and there wasn't enough demand for it. And that's the reason why HBO got rid of it.
Right.
Because there wasn't enough demand.
Yeah, so that's exactly the right point. Are you saying that everything in American society needs to be driven by the profit motive? There is not enough demand on getting ratings for things that help the social and economic development of kids. But you know what Mr. Rogers understood, what we've forgotten in this country? Some things are more valuable than money.
Yeah, and he's exactly right about this. We do not want a government that is seeking profit all of the time. Sometimes there are things like services that the American people need that the government should fulfill. Like, they've been talking about getting rid of USPS, and that would just be an absolutely terrible idea because the USPS will deliver to most mailboxes all over the country because they understood that that is a service that the American people needed to have in order to have a better functioning society. This is true in a whole lot of places. You talk about cell phone technology. That came out of our military development. You talk about probably some of the technology that are in Tesla cars. That came from government development. One of the big ones is medicines that don't affect a lot of people. The government can put money into those things to try to figure out the research to combat certain diseases because in the private market, if only, less than 1% of the population suffers from any given disease, there is no profit motive for them to go chase. So they're not going to do it. So there are just so many places in government that provide goods and services or research in different areas that businesses just wouldn't do. So I think it's really important that we drive this message home. We do not want a government that is seeking profit. We want a system that works for the majority or all of the people that doesn't have to rely on turning over a profit at the end of the month. That just sets up a whole bunch of bad incentives, and the government just should not be run that way. It's a message that we just need to keep on driving on. And here for the last video clip here, we've got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he's talking about how Democrats can win in 2026. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Let's be real honest. There are, I didn't tell anyone I was going to say this. There are parts of the Democratic Party that really just blew it really hard for us. And that's going to make it harder for us to win back that House in 2026. But we can do it. It seems to me like we can. Yeah, yes we can. I didn't mean it that way, but yeah, yes we can. Si se puede. But if it's gonna happen, it's gonna be because crowds like this, people like this, and not just you as a crowd, but each and every one of you gets to work. Doesn't just come to this rally, but then goes home and figures out, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do between now and 2026 when it's time to get out the vote and it's time to win back the House? What am I gonna do?
Now, I just love this, and mainly I included this clip because I always love it when you've got an actor in Hollywood. You know, there's always those really terrible times when a great actor comes out and you learn that they've been swallowed up by the MAGA cult. So I just love pointing out that some of these great actors, they are aligned with us. They are on our team, so to speak. But what he is saying here is absolutely true. We are only seeing just the beginning of the pushback from the American people. We've seen it in town halls all across the country, but we have to put that rage to work. We have to start building coalitions now. It's not about just attending protests. You got to go out there and network. You got to get involved with your local communities. You got to get involved with your local party and start organizing now. We've got to be campaigning all of the time. If the last election showed us anything, it's that we've got to be doing the work day in and day out. So we've got to take some of this rage that we're seeing all across the country, and we have to mold that into a coalition that can help us win in 2026, because it's going to be here before we know it. And we should be able to sweep the House. We should be able to sweep this election if we get to work right now. We already know that our policies are popular with the American people. We've got a messaging problem right now. We've got a branding problem right now as far as the Democratic Party goes. But if we start putting in the work now, if we start thinking what we can do on an individual level, how you can call your congresspeople, call your senators, get involved with mutual aid groups, get involved with local democracy groups, we can put in the work today to make sure that we are winning tomorrow. So I just thought this was a really great message to end the week on. We've got to be working together. Like they say, nobody's coming to save us. It's going to be the American people that rise up, that push back against this authoritarian administration. And the work, it starts right now. So I will leave it there for now, guys. This has been another weekly roundup. Like I have said many, many times before, I am a small creator. I don't have a producer. I don't have a team. I can't cover all the stories that I would like to cover each and every week. And this last week especially has been a bit difficult. But I hope you enjoyed this selection of clips for this edition of the weekly roundup. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. And I will see you again next week. So I will leave it there for now, guys. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share it with a friend or two. That would be very much appreciated. We've got to build something here on the left. It's starting to come together now, but we've got to build something that adequately pushes back against the right-wing media ecosystem that just ferments all of this MAGA brain rot that we are seeing in our society today. So if you do like what I do here, please do remember to smash that subscribe button. It is free. And if you guys want to see how the Trump administration is taking innocent people and sending them to an El Salvadorian prison where they will likely be subjected to violence, torture, possibly death, please do watch the video on the screen now and share it. We have to remember to keep this story in the spotlight. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.